Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Two Facet Podcast. My name is Matt Mikulski and I'm here with Junka Gonzalez.
Yes, hello.
Hi Junka. She's a co-host. Not a random person. This time...
Yes.
This time we actually have a topic, but we don't have that much of a solution.
Yes, it's something we've been wondering lately and we don't really know what's the answer to it, right?
So it's not that this is closed. If you can help us, great. But we thought like having this discussion recorded and like kind of brain dumping around the topic could be beneficial, or we'll have one more video on this channel that nobody cares. Hopefully that's not the case. But what we wanted to discuss today?
So basically, normally in other episodes and us working together, what we do is that we try to postpone the more final UI to the later stage of the whole development process, right? Yeah. So we prefer to work on opportunity trees or some sort of super rough sketches, breadboarding, things like that, and work together with developers before getting to the final UI prototypes. Yeah. But it is true that sometimes when we start facing bigger projects, we find peers that are requesting this, right? Yeah. They are requesting like a concept design or like a high-fidelity prototype for the project at hand. And this makes us wonder. Yeah,
do we need to build them, no? Because it's like, as you said, no? For me, high-fidelity design is one of the most expensive things we can produce, no? The second most expensive is actual code.
Yes.
And when you have high-fidelity, changes are usually taking some time. Of course, if you have good design system, they're gonna be faster and you can prototype a bit more rapidly, but still you're making a lot of assumptions about solution usually early on.
Yes. So sometimes with this type of concept designs, at least the people who are requesting it are fine with these assumptions, right? And when you ask them why do you want it, right? Because it's interesting. I'm like, okay, so what's the need here? Yeah. Why do they need that? They say they need that to be inspired, to try to envision the future so they can also inspire stakeholders, communicate better, and they are fine with this assumption that this concept design is not necessarily going to solve all the detailed problems, right?
Yeah, but then on the other side, so for example, justification I heard was you can actually go with high fidelity design to hide details. What I mean is like when you're gonna have stakeholders. So on my side, it's usually stakeholders that say to me, "Hey, but can you share me a mock-up, a design, whatever?" No, they want to have something visual already, or what this thing gonna be doing. No, and tip I heard about why it could be good to produce a high fidelity design in this situation is like if you hit the right fidelity or level of details of mapped flows, a lot of times stakeholders gonna be like, okay, they're doing something, I'm super confident now, it's okay because I don't know, it was pretty or aligned with your idea. But what I mean is like in Doc Planner recently there is one of the designs which I will not name that is fairly high fidelity. And what's amazing about it, it's like it's high fidelity in terms of UI elements. Yes. So you feel like, there was a great designer doing it.
It feels finalized.
But when you click on it, you see like it doesn't have like half of the stuff. It's more like there's gonna be a setting and there's gonna be a lot of settings, how pretty they're gonna be. But please don't look what settings I have on the screen because it's random stuff. Please don't look there. No, and this kind of concept design, according to some people I talked to, serves this need, no? So if someone has like a very specific feedback about what kind of a statistic you should show because of stuff, to avoid having this conversation every week and listing that yes, we'll have this specific feature, it's enough to say like, we're gonna have statistics screen, check how pretty statistics screen is gonna be. And then those people sometimes will not even care about their original feedback. It's like, okay, now I'm sure there's gonna be statistics and you're a smart person, so I'm going out, no? When instead, what I had a lot of times when showing just a pitch or a document trying to describe a problem space, etc., then people come back to me and say like, I understand the problem. Will you have this button here? Because I want this button customer told me there's gonna be solution to this problem, no? And it's like, yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be a button selector model. Who fucking cares, no?
Yeah, but at the same time, it makes me wonder. So then we do have stakeholders that maybe their mindset only works in solutions. So that's like some sort of problem or need that we may need to solve, right? If we talk about problems with them, it feels not enough because they don't see the solution just yet.
Yeah.
So, and this would be the problem we would be fixing in the example you were giving, right?
Yeah, if you give some kind of a design, no, they will see visual solution or at least one of the approaches to the solution. My bet, again, nothing verified really, would be that some people actually don't care about the solution as me and you.
Yeah.
It just they want to know you're not crazy. So it's like, imagine a problem that have finite number of solutions, but like 2 of them are obviously stupid, no? Like,
Yeah.
in order to send a WhatsApp, I will first need to send a paper copy of it. Well, I'm extreme, no? But like there are very bad solutions that will deliver solution to the problem, but they're just stupid.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, whatever. From those other 5, pick whatever. It's gonna be
whatever,
chat, message, fine. Just be sure to have it, no? So then sometimes even if they wanted a select and you did the model, they're like, okay, fine, you have this way, I'm okay with it, no? But what's weird for me and what my brain cannot compute is like why it doesn't work when I type it. Saying we'll have an option for a customer to choose X, and then I'm being asked of like, who will you have a select or a model here? And it's like, why?
Or with like a flow, just with arrows and like with description of screens and actions, why this doesn't work, right? Yeah. Because the moment you start investing time on a concept design, which is, as you said, I mean, it's an investment that you need to do, you start feeling that that's the actual direction. But maybe when doing the concept design, you didn't have the time to get that much into the detail of the actual problem or how the different parts of the system relate to each other, right? What the things mean in the mental model of the user. Yeah. So, yeah.
And that could be a thing for me also, which blocks me from it, no? Because it's like, let's say you go for this concept design, and I'm not that bad with concept designs as a concept. I mean, like, they can be fine as long as you forget about them pretty fast after doing them, no? So in my mind, they're great to organize your own knowledge and then forget about it. So I would keep them low fidelity, basically, no?
Exactly, yeah.
And then you can slice into things and then life goes on. And on a piece of paper or a document, it's still, I believe it's much easier to iterate those ideas, change them, Figma files, whatever, versus you have any fidelity of a concept. Then it starts living its own way.
Exactly.
Like you live it, and there is this concept design, and then you find out yourself 3 months later, someone asking you about this futuristic AI that you put there, and you're like, I don't know, we wanted AI, but now we are in a, version 0.001 of it, so we're not gonna be talking AI. But then someone may already have an expectation, or you will deliver this AI
like
someday.
What happened with
like,
this? I saw this, it was never delivered, you just delivered one list. So you created for me like a whole amazing dream of the future product, and now you're delivering like a crude list. And it's what, so it can be like, as you say, like we forget about it, and then people are like, what happened with it? Why didn't deliver it? But it can happen as well that since the concept is there, you have the UI there, maybe a team just comes the next day and take it and just develop it. Yeah. And it was not the intention for the design, but once it looks so real and so tangible, it's easy to, just move forward with it, right?
Yeah. And then, if you need to make like a fundamental or big change, I believe majority of the people will not be able to do it at this stage.
What do you mean? In which sense?
So let's take an example. You want to have a chat, or other way around. You want to have a way for patients to send communication to doctors.
Yeah. You
can do it using chat, you can do it through forms, you can do it through having a specific email address. I can keep imagining another versions, no?
Yeah.
And then if you, for example, concept design towards forms, no, and you have now super complex forms, etc. But then you find out of like now the usage pattern is all of the patients are writing to doctors on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Then you're actually bringing inferior product to the market right now.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't find it out before doing your concept design because you didn't know what you want to build. So you first concept designed this beautiful complex system of different forms for different medical needs. And then you find out that, oh, we were about to build chat. Now the whole concept that we've been about to work is obsolete, or actually it's a absolutely wrong idea, a solution to the right problem.
Yes. You were maybe narrowing down your solution space too early.
Too early, yeah.
Right, for a big problem. So maybe for a big problem, it's complicated. Maybe it works better if the problem is not very complex, the problem is not very big, but maybe the problem is more on just like the interaction patterns,
if it's UX
the consistency, maybe some I don't know. Maybe in that case.
Then maybe it makes sense. No?
But then, is it like a concept design or is it like a redesign?
I would say it's a usability testing then. No?
Right.
In my mind, it's like, okay, we have some struggles here and there. Let's test them, and then you work visual because the product exists and things exist. No?
But you're redesigning. You're not like concepting in like an imagined future what it could be.
Your low fidelity can be as well screenshots of the actual product with changed order. No, and it kind of looks high fidelity, but you took 5 screenshots. It didn't cost it work, no?
Yeah.
But then actually I'm not asked about concept designs in these cases. In small improvements in the product, nobody asks me about designs. They're like, we should improve it. And I'm like, flow gonna be better, and then they don't care, no? It's more like, as you said, actually both of us recently started big new projects that are like, let's build something, but we are not that clear of what do we want to build.
Because the problem is too big.
But in both cases, we received like a first question was like, can you provide me a concept design of long-term strategy, how it's gonna look in 2 years from now? No?
Exactly.
It's like, I don't know. I'm trying to nail down like where to put the first button.
Yeah. Because if you don't, I don't know, for me it's difficult to produce a concept design if you don't really understand the whole system, how the parts relate to each other, how they affect to each other, all of that. But at the same time, it makes me wonder that maybe our mindset works very well in the problem space, and we understand it, but for some other people, they actually need something tangible in the solution space, so they can think about problem space, about strategy, about I don't know.
Yeah, but then one thing that both of us agree is like you should not build a concept design if you don't have full understanding of the problem you want to solve, really. No? So
I don't feel confident.
If someone just comes and told you build a WhatsApp for patients and doctors, probably that's not enough.
There's a risk in there. There's a risk in there.
I can imagine how this WhatsApp would work, but there are bits and pieces there, no? That
I would not feel confident with my design.
So then you want to get more confident about it, right?
Yes.
So you need research, discovery, user story mappings, tons of interviews, etc. to produce concept design that later gonna be developed by someone. So why not to start doing it already? Meaning like while doing discovery, while not working on a smaller concepts that can be delivered already. That's my problem. Is like
smaller solutions that we can actually deliver.
Yeah.
It is true that there's this risk, or people say that this is a risk, that you end up creating a Frankenstein. So if you don't have a vision of where you're going, you may end up, like building things here and there. And as well, sometimes designers, when working on the smaller projects, they say it's difficult for me to take decisions because I don't have like a clear direction of where are we going.
Yeah.
But at the same time, how do we know where are we going?
Yeah, but that's part of a product vision, I say, no? Okay. It's like we should have some strong vision over like what is our goal in the next X years usually,
So then in this case the concept design is just like a visualization of this vision in an imagined way.
Yeah, could be, but then it's also like, so for me, product vision can be, we want our customers to be able to allow online booking to anything they want.
Yeah.
In X period of time.
Yes.
would you now spend time on a concept design that maps every possible way of publishing slot for anything that hospital, clinic, doctor, or God knows whom can have, just to have the vision of how it should look like there? No, more natural for me would be, okay, so what they can publish, what they cannot publish, how can we find a generic enough concept so we can connect those two things?
Yes.
To either redesign, refactor, or build from scratch, but let's find the 80%, no?
Especially which one is the most complex part.
Yeah.
So the core part that if we don't get right, the rest doesn't make sense,
Exactly.
right? So if you're like, oh, I need to have like the full flow, I need to have like the full concept, yeah, but there will be parts that you don't need, like you don't need a login, you don't need a list. Like these are
settings,
things that are...
usually half of them you can forget, no? If
Exactly.
you have a pattern in place already.
So what is the actual super complex thing that you need to define in a detail, in a good way, so then the rest can just be easily done, you know?
And maybe this is the value. So maybe the thing that we got signaled by, hey, I need a concept design for X, is actually, hey, I believe this is the risky or the opportunity in this project, and I want to know if this risk or opportunity exists, but I'm not caring about the whole project. Meaning, like, maybe the concept design we are looking for is actually one screen or like one interaction.
True.
That
Like
everybody is worried about, and they believe they need to see the full flow to see how the data gonna connect and what's gonna be the experience, etc. They're actually worried about, like, will it be super easy, or will the customer have an option for X, Y, and Z? And then maybe it's not that bad, maybe not that expensive. Not doing one flow, it's usually fairly easy.
Yeah. Still, you need to understand deeply the problem.
Oh, of course.
But I get your point. Maybe the concept design can be more thought of, yes, I'm going to concept, but just the most complex parts.
Yeah, and then you
that
leave
really
out
have a
the
lot of
details
risk.
that are much more important usually than this
Yeah.
one flow, but they're not important to show if this is risky or not risky.
Because they would be easy to solve in any way, because they're common patterns or things
already
like that.
this base thingy dictates how they will need to live on. No? So
Yeah.
chat versus forum also implies of how you will see message sent, received, both receiver, sender, what's possible around the message versus what's possible around the object that is a form field in the internet. No, this dictates stuff, no? The starting point.
Exactly,
of, like, will it
exactly.
be this or that?
What is the core? Yeah, and this takes me to another thought that I was having, which is like, okay, so in general we talk about concept design and high fidelity, but always you should choose the tool based on your goal, right? So sometimes it's like, let's do concept design, but we don't really know why we're doing concept design. Like stakeholders, they don't know themselves why they want that, right? So yeah, I think maybe trying to dig deeper on exactly in this situation why they feel they need this.
Yeah.
So you can provide it to the point in a way, right?
Yeah, and probably not stopping at because I want inspiration for the next years, no, or whatever.
Maybe we can keep asking why do they need this inspiration, right? Like why what will happen when they will have it, and what will happen if they will not have it, right? What changes?
Yeah, exactly. You know, true. I wanted to say, like, a lot of times you're gonna hear like, oh, because it's easier to ask customer about visuals than concepts.
To ask customer.
So I did had situations in my life when, you know, you have some feedbacks from, this is not starting project, it's improving existing one, but you're gonna have some feedbacks from customers about like this and that and Y and Z. And sometimes you're gonna be using research, but if you have, for example, sales, it's easier. They already talk to customer every day by job, no? So you can ask them, hey, could you play a bit with this or that? And then 99% of the cases you're gonna hear is like, give me a mock-up. Like, give me a design, I'm gonna show and ask like, is it pretty?
I see a risk there as well,
true.
right? Because if you don't have very well defined the problem you're trying to solve, or that you want to validate that you are solving the problem, there's a risk that, okay, you have a clickable prototype, you show it to a user, the user is able to go from the starting of the prototype to the end of the prototype, and then it's like, yes, we have it validated, we can develop. But actually what you validated is that the interaction makes sense.
No.
And it's clear. You're not validating if it's desirable for the user, if they would pay for it, if it actually solving their problem.
True.
I mean, if you're not super careful, and it's a risk. It's a risk.
But now when you thought about it, actually example I had in mind, we did not this. So our mockup was 3 screens, not interconnected, just two of them had very visual way of showing something. And then the feedbacks we got actually were aligned with what we expected, because we wanted them to point out like 2 opportunities that this UX change would introduce. And this is what we got from them. So we didn't got any comments about the flow and if it would be easy or not. They said like, I like this because it allows me to do X, and that's gonna be possible. Great, I want this. No.
So it's a conversation starter, and
and now when we started designing the solution, actually, we found out there's so many complications we have no clue about. Then now we have real questions. But the base is covered by this 3 screens high fidelity mockup that the designer created.
But you were not like creating the full flow and having the user going through the full flow. You were just using it as a tangible artifact.
Yeah, and it's actually 3 steps of a much longer flow.
Yeah, to make the right questions about the opportunity. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. I would say they were core to the opportunity. So they were like the most core 3 screens to the opportunity, not core in terms of like how to configure them, how I will use them, more like how the content gonna be generated based on that. No, it's is this thing you want to achieve? Yes, okay, great. No, and then the design is already completely different, and we found our concept couldn't work. But that's the other thing, no. But initially we had the temptation also saying like when we designed. One thing I can say is like the project has 2 sides. One is for patients, the second one is for doctors, obviously, no? But NDAs. But the thing was like we had the temptation to build the whole mock-up for setup of a feature, and then
test if the user is able to use it.
Exactly,
right?
And then we knew also inside the setup there is like a lot of details that need to influence bits of the patient side. If they would like to have it per time period or per service or per something, that's gonna influence what the patient on the other side needs to figure out, no, from the solution. So we had a temptation, no? Patient configuration, how the data gonna flow,
and then we take the user through the flow.
And that was what we believed we will need for those sales meetings. But what we went with, because of lack of time, and I wrote this project. We actually started doing day before interview some mock-ups, no? So we didn't do mock-up just because of me forgetting about it. But we ended up doing only the patient part. And this served us very good, no? Because we got information about, I want my patients to see this versus that, and I want them to have this moment of thinking, no? So we say, okay, great, we know this is the value you want to have delivered. Now it's our job to understand how to make it with the best conversion rate for patients, so they will do the action. And we will schedule follow-ups with you for setup, because we still have no clue how to create this setup and what's your mind model around it.
But in this case, and especially since you did it the day before, it's clearly because you did it just for the sole purpose of supporting the sales interviews. Or supporting the So this takes me back of why are you doing the concept design, right? And you just did it for that, and then you just forgot about it. It was just like a tangible artifact.
But as you said, no, it was a conversation starter. It was like we knew it's probably not gonna ever hit production in that form. But it was enough for the customer to see and say like, I want my patients to see that thingy.
Okay, so, well, I don't know if we have an answer. I don't know if I have an answer.
Probably I'm not. One thing that I feel more comfortable now is like maybe small-ish designs, like the riskiest idea design.
The riskiest, the core of the problem, right? And maybe not, we need the concept for everything, we need the concept for the core, the core of the problem.
But I would still say first try to do breadboarding, user story mapping, things like this to figure out your core problem. And then you can have like a high super fidelity design with a lot of details for this super core thing. And maybe that's gonna actually motivate people, or make them, this is our vision. I now know where I'm going for, etc. Because this super complex, risky thing is now, look, it's just 3 clicks, no? And then there is complexity, but maybe you're able to skip it if you play with the right risky idea that they wanted to have visualized.
So that, and also ask yourself and your team, even if you need 5 whys, why do you believe you need the concept design, right?
Yeah.
And then you're clear if it's because of inspiration, if it's because to share with the customer, if it's because... So depending on the actual goal and the expectations, you can frame it slightly different.
Yeah,
no?
and probably you can, skip it in some cases also, no?
It could be like maybe, oh no, because we need to have a vision for the developers, let's say. It's like, okay, for the developers, we don't need final UI. Of course, we need some sort of flow, but maybe it can be some other format.
Yeah, and
right?
they usually will not need the flow, like UI day one. Half of the day they will actually not need UI because it's gonna be only like 70% of your design gonna be on production.
Yeah.
Like, even if they go pixel to pixel, it's not gonna look the same.
No,
so it's
no.
You need direction of a UI more usually. So yeah, that's for sure. If you have an answer of, because I need to map somehow all of the details I have from different inputs and we need to know how they're gonna interact,
then
user story mapping.
Yeah, or something else.
Actually, this is advice I got from Hookah like 3 days ago. While trying to do 7 different mockups with too many details, was like, hey, start just writing it down. Stop designing. No?
Yeah, user story mapping, I think it works because when you were thinking, oh, concept design, you want to think about the future of the product, right? And this is what you're doing with user story mapping. You're thinking about the stories of the user in the future. How will they? So you're doing the same, but just with text instead of with drawings.
And then you can be much faster. You can
Super
iterate.
fast.
You can delete, add.
You can invite people much easier. So it's much easier to invite someone to a user story mapping meeting than to create a high fidelity prototype. So
And maybe at the end you produce one for this one core flow, or maybe not. I'm super interested to hear from anyone else. No? As you can see, we are kind of doing loops, but we hope anybody from you is like either having similar conversations, or maybe some of our tips help here and you will produce a bit less, no? Because it's just because your developers wanted to estimate beautiful designs. They don't need to usually. But if you have any tips on when to do concept designs or how you feel they're helping you or not helping,
why you use them, when you use them, when are they useful, so maybe it can help us make up our mind. No,
that would be super useful. But as you can get from this video, we are not biggest fans of it. Slowly trying to understand. Probably one tip we can give is like, try to ask yourself why you need to design all of those screens and ifs and details and interactive prototype. What's the reason?
It's not a mandatory step in the design process. It's not like a must. So that's the thing. So then why we need it, no?
Because user interviews you can do without or with low fidelity. User testing you can do. Usability testing you do way later, so who cares? So the only thing, as you said, was this like motivation or inspiration, but maybe there are better ways. So I guess that's all, no?
That's it. I like this episode a lot. Thank you.
Me too. Thank you. Thank you all for listening to us too. Hope you found something good in it, and see you in the next episode.
See you.
Thank you. Bye.